Monica Makes It Happen podcast is proudly supported by Goya. If it's Goya, it has to be good. And by JP Morgan Chase, New York's hometown bank for over 225 years.
Hi, everybody. This is podcast number 16 of the Monica Makes It Happen podcast. And I have a very special guest, 2 guests to be exact, and a lot of dresses and a lot of hope for our kids, specifically in the Bronx. It's BronxWorks. Can you believe they're here? They have been doing their great work, and the CEO's here too, by the way. They've been doing their great work since 1972. They provide dozens of programs from eviction prevention, we love that, health and wellness services, workforce development, pantry and emergency food, and education, and youth development. Now, Dina Brown is here. We love you, the Associate Vice President of Older Youth Programs. Thanks for being on our podcast. And Elieen Torres, the CEO, is here. I can't believe you're here, Eileen.
Well, thank you for including us. Thank you.
Finally got you here. And what I love about the podcast is we can have a more in-depth conversation. And we have a studio audience. Studio audience, thanks for being here. Please clap. You're going to clap every time you hear something great. You know we have a studio audience here. So tell me first, first with you, the CEO of BronxWorks. We love the work that you do. You're so committed to this organization and to the youth and to the people of the Bronx. Why? I have to always say, what's your why? Is it your story? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where do you come from? What is your family like?
I am just a Latina from the Bronx. I was born in the Bronx, but raised between the Bronx and Upper Manhattan, Inwood to be exact. And my parents instilled what all the other parents, right, want for their children, which is, set some dreams and then continue your education. Make sure that as you go along with your educational goals, understand that is the way that we can lift ourselves out of what we're currently, the economic level that we're in. And so if you want to upgrade your lifestyle, it's your education. They made a lot of sacrifices for my sister and me to be able to go to Catholic school, get a good education, further our dreams. And they also instilled, once you get a seat at the table, make sure you bring chairs so you can bring others along with you.
I love that. I love that so much. And you've really given back. I mean, I think every time I see a need in the community, BronxWorks is there. And that must be coming from the top. And your story, again, can you tell people the story about when you were in law school? Because you went to law school. Hello. I barely made my master's degree, and I still don't know what I did with that. But anyway, you went to law school, and you were one of the only Latinas that you saw probably in law school. I remember one of my girlfriends went to law school, and she was like, "I'm the only one here from Cuba," And but did you have? What was that story? I love that story.
So I went to law school. I went to Northeastern. I had a full scholarship. There were other people of color like me, but a great number of them were not, and different sort of economic situations, right? And so there was a period of time when they wanted to highlight a few of the law students, and for whatever reason, I was selected as one of them. And I remember the interviewer wanted to focus a lot about how I was the first in my family to graduate from college. And I did not want to focus on that because I also felt like that was a way to say something negative about my parents. And so I tried to sort of turn the interview around to something else. But, in retrospect, I do see that as something that's extremely positive, right?
Yeah.
With the dreams of my parents, they ensured that I was able to achieve something that they were not able to do, right?
Yeah.
And so they made, many sacrifices for my sister and me to be able to continue and achieve dreams that they had only thought about or dreamt about when they were younger.
Yeah, their daughter's a CEO of one of the largest social service organizations doing so much great work. And of course, Dina, you're here. Dina Brown, I'm so grateful you're here too.
Thank you.
It's all about prom season, and I was telling you the story about when I didn't have a dress for prom. I was telling you, CEO, about that. And there was a lot of shame about that, like not being able to get a new dress. And I was very angry at my mom. So that's why you're here. I don't know if you know that, studio audience, but that's why you're here, is because when you don't have a dress and you can't afford it, and at the time I don't know what my parents' situation was, maybe things were rough going, and they gave me a secondhand dress. And I remember thinking, all my friends have new dresses, why am I? But my mom cleaned it. She was so good at cleaning clothes. Like she used to clean homes. So she made it look like a brand new dress. And I wore it like I was $1 million. And she did say the golden motto, which is, it is not about the dress, it's about what's inside you. And so I really wanted people to know that story. Absolutely. Because that's really what this is about. We love, but you want to look good, okay?
Of course.
She still made me look good, like $1 million. But it was that she cared, and that, somebody cared. So you guys care. You care. Why do you care so much? Dina, tell me.
Well,
why do you care so much?
So much because, at this moment where economically times are hard, right? Families are just trying to make ends meet. And prom and graduation season, it's a significant milestone, right, in anyone's life. So if you are economically suffering, but you need to, support your child in this phenomenal moment, that can be a stressor, right? So what BronxWorks does, and what we're doing with this event, is we're trying to ease a little bit of stress, right? Especially financially. So we create an experience for our youth.
Oh, I like that, an experience. I love that.
So our prom and graduation wear event, we have music. We have like a little pink carpet. Actually, I'm going to do pink carpet this year. Yeah. We do mocktails. We have decorations, balloons, and we have volunteers who assist with like picking the outfits, the dresses, the suits. Just want to make that child feel special. And also for the parents, we offer suits for the dad, or graduation dresses for the mom. So everyone can come and be able to pick something and have something and be a part of the experience. And really to ease the financial stress and just the mental stress a little bit. We could just help out a little. That's what we're here to do.
It's
and that's
so
what
true. So Eileen, it would be great to have a corporate sponsor to give.
That would be
like just
amazing.
A bulk amount of dresses and suits, right? It would be good to have someone who maybe who's watching could sponsor, because every year you do this, is the 3rd annual, right?
Yes, that's
so
correct.
What's the ask? What would you like? Because you have so many. How many people need? And then what's the ask? What would be the dream ask? What do you think?
As far as the need, we're trying to at least dress at least 100.
Okay, 100 girls and boys. Okay,
that would be ideal.
And they're really adult sizes, right?
Yes,
so we're not looking for kids' clothes. You're looking for
mainly adult sizes. For the middle and high school kids, from small up until
plus sizes
2, 3X.
Hello.
Yes.
We need a little bit more space in those dresses sometimes.
Yes.
Some are so teeny weenies, and we don't want teeny weeny dresses. But I mean, some people are teeny weeny, but we like a little bit more space.
Yes, we have some teeny weenies.
Thank you. We got teeny weenies.
So extra small.
And then for the boys, we need shoes. We need socks.
Shirts. Yes.
Shirts,
ties, bow ties, dress socks.
We're gonna put all this on our website. Okay.
Yes.
Once we do that, because we're doing a TV story too. Oh, good. Bill is behind the camera. Bill, you're the best. We actually have a few suits, thanks to you girls. We have a few suits here. Aren't these gorgeous? But we only have 2, so we need at least 100 more, right?
Yes.
We need 100 more. So somebody watching, if they're generous, you take cash donations. You also take clothing as well. And there's drop-off locations, which I think your team told me about. So we'll have those, but there's a few drop-off locations too. Yeah?
Yes, right. So they can drop things off at. BronxWorks has 65 different locations in the Bronx.
Did you say 65?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you are a force. And everyone's heard of you. Everyone knows what BronxWorks does. So to have you here talking about this, and to be so, when you think it's important and you're saying, we want our kids to have prom dresses, then it happens. Something magical happens, right?
I hope so.
Yeah. Is there a reason why that is? Was there a thought, like, do you have a meeting sometimes and say, our community is hurting when it comes to prom? Like, how did this come about?
So, well, one of the things that we actually do is, for first the staff themselves. They come from many of the areas that we have offices in, right? And so everyone's really invested in the success of the borough and the success of the residents. I think we're very in tune to the needs of the Bronx and Bronx residents. And so a few years ago, there was a need for a lot of our young people to be able to have clothing for prom. And so I think, you tasked Dina Brown with something. She's absolutely amazing. We're a force of about 1,200 staff, and it's the team that makes BronxWorks as great and dynamic as it is.
You're like one of the best bosses.
So
we love you.
But for Dina, right? So we come up with this idea, and then we say, "Okay, Dina, make it happen.
Make it happen, Dina." Okay, we've got your back. We've got your back. So after the commercial break, we're going to learn a little bit more about all of the services, because again, we want this is number one. We want you to give, and it's so easy to give. What is it again? Bronx. www.bronxworks.org. So easy to remember, bronxworks.org. We're going to put it on our website and link to it as well. You're on Instagram, you're on Twitter.
Yes.
You're on all of them, so we're going to also link you on. I love Instagram, so I'm Miss Instagram. Coming up after the commercial, we're going to talk about all the other programs and what the resources that you might be interested. You never know. I have a viewer that needs some help. That's after the break. Okay, we're back with BronxWorks, the CEO, and of course one of the other bosses who's doing this incredible prom drive, which hopefully this is going to drop on a Friday. So as soon as they see this, what do?
As soon as they see this, you can log on to bronxworks.org. You can donate, or if you have dresses, you have suits, you can drop it off at one of our many locations.
Yeah, and then you always need help you have so many different programs. Can you tell me the scope of the programs? Eviction, counseling, and prevention is huge right now. People are losing their homes, and you are on the front lines fighting that.
So the Bronx, unfortunately, for many years has been the borough with the highest rate of evictions. And so we've been providing eviction prevention services from the early 90s. We expanded our programming this year, and we've added a team of attorneys that also will represent tenants in court.
You added a team of attorneys?
Yes, well, through funding with New York City.
Breaking news. Breaking news. What is this program called?
The Tenant Defense Fund. Program, sorry.
This
the
could
Tenant
be
Defense
a story
Program.
in itself. I love these stories. So we got to meet this team, because they're on the front lines helping. And so you say, how long have they been in existence? How long have they been going?
So that's a very new program. We just added them this year.
I was going to say, I haven't heard of it yet. Okay.
Right, so,
and I know all my eviction prevention programs, so we have to do a TV story on it. So tell me more. If someone is suffering right now with housing problems, they can reach out to you?
Absolutely. So they can log on to our website. Look, you can select one of the programs. There's actually a info@bronxworks.org that gets answered by one of our own staff. They'll respond, and we'll be able to set up an appointment for someone to come in and meet with someone.
I always say a team of lawyers. You need a lawyer. You always have to roll with a lawyer, and especially when it comes to housing. So this is incredible. Right. Are you already getting calls? Are you already?
Well, it's the right to counsel, which was passed by New York City Council a few years back, and so BronxWorks is one of the newer providers that just started. And so we've been able to expand then our eviction prevention services, but we also run other kinds of programs.
What else do you have? What else?
So we have an access to benefits program that really helps people connect to anything that they may be eligible for. We help seniors. There's a lot of seniors that come in for assistance, so we're helping a lot of seniors connect to that. If you think about the organization, we provide services to the very young and the elderly and every population in between, and both to families and individuals. So we try to prevent homelessness, but also try to help those who are homeless by operating shelters for homeless families and individuals as well.
And you're part of the youth.
Yes, youth development.
What do you see? You're on you know what the needs are. What are you seeing?
So what we're seeing a lot, we provide a lot of after-school programming. So that is a need as far as academic support, extracurricular activities, a lot of mental health support, social emotional learning support that we have to provide.
Because it's that time between 2 and 6, right? That afternoon.
Yes.
We have to keep our children busy and put them somewhere safe.
Yes.
So that's what you're all about?
That's what I'm all about. We're doing trips. I've been trying to get Eileen to get us to Disney World for some of the trips. I've been trying for years, so maybe we'll get that. But but we really try to expose our kids to different aspects of life. We do job readiness, career readiness, college readiness. We have summer programming that's coming up from elementary all the way up to middle school. We have summer youth employment opportunities from ages 14 all the way up to 24, preparing them for the job world. They get paid. So we are really on the ground supporting.
I feel like 10 stories I want to do, 10 stories. Do you ever feel like it is so much? You guys do so much, BronxWorks. That's why I had to have you on the show, because we either have celebrities, CEOs, or just incredible organizations, you're a CEO too, but that are doing so much. You're such a big agency. Do you ever feel like the reason why you're so successful is you're so big, you cover so much, but you are very detail oriented. Like each program is so well thought, and you have to. It's like you're keeping all of this going. I don't know how do you do it? How do you?
Again, it goes back to the team. So we really have an amazing, phenomenal team that's just focused on the needs of the Bronx. And while we're large, we're still nimble enough that when the city of New York or the state of New York needs us, we're quick to pivot. We pivoted. We did a lot of pivoting during COVID, during the pandemic, where we had to, try to figure out how we were going to make sure that everyone was safe in our shelters for homeless families, in our street outreach program as they're engaging individuals in the Bronx. For our children and youth programming that typically did not have laptops and computers, right, to be able to do things remotely. We were trying to figure that out quickly. We became vaccination clinics, hosted vaccination clinics at our gymnasium in one of our buildings. And then unfortunately, when there's tragedy strikes the Bronx, we also are quick to respond to that as well. So we're large, but we're also still able to pivot when we need to.
That's amazing. I mean, because when you think about it, you're able to recalibrate with the needs of the community as it's happening, almost on the ground immediately. And you've been doing this for so many years now. What's the magic sauce? I mean, I know it's the team, but is it like, it's also this connection to the community.
That's right.
That you continue to foster. And I think that it comes from the top. I really do. I believe that good leadership, right? I mean, Dina, maybe you should say something about her.
Yes.
Because she's too humble to say it. So can you tell me a little bit about how?
It really comes from the top. And I've been with the agency 15 years, and just watching Eileen, I get a little emotional because I look up to her and she's passionate about the work. Being from the Bronx and giving back to the Bronx is key. And watching her and many of the staff that watch her, she sets the tone. Mm-hmm. And that passion is what you need to have. And she has that passion, and it really trickles down to the staff.
Wow. And the need is so great, though. Do you ever feel like, I know people are watching and it's like, we have children and families that can't afford to live here, that can't afford to eat, can't afford to go to prom. I mean, the need, have you ever seen it like this before?
I think probably for us, the pandemic was a period of time where we did see a huge increase. The borough is typically a food insecure borough, but it really skyrocketed during the pandemic. I think things had been improving. Unfortunately, the cost of living is going up. There's inflation, right? Food prices, and so we do see more and more people coming into our emergency food assistance programs, like our food pantries.
How many food pantries do you have?
So we have about 14.
14,
and we have
wow.
one that operates specifically on Saturdays to try to cater to working families.
Yes.
Who's not able to take a day off from work to stand on a line during the week.
How busy is a Saturday?
So we provide
busy.
about 200 to 250, and it's client choice. So people can come in, they shop for their items. So a way to try to do this with some dignity back,
Yes.
so they could select what they like to have and put on their table. And so we have, again, very dedicated staff who sit there. But in addition to coming into the food pantry, what we do is we also do an intake and we assess, right? Where else can we be most helpful? Whether that's BronxWorks itself or perhaps one of our other peer organizations that we could actually send a referral back to so that they can also help in.
That's what I love about.
So it's a holistic way of looking at things.
I like that you're thinking like that because it can be damaging to be poor and it can be very traumatic, and we don't want to re-traumatize ourselves, our families, and you're very mindful of that. And even in the prom program, you're making it an event so that we're all in the same boat. So there's no shame in this game. Coming up after the break, we're going to do our speed round, and of course, it's always about hope and healing. So that'll be right after the break. All right, now we're back with the CEO and with Dina. I love it. I love having both of you here to talk about. I do the speed round at the end of the podcast where I want to talk about the biggest achievement of BronxWorks. That's a hard one because you're so everywhere. So this is up to you what to say, and I hate to put you on the spot. What's the biggest achievement you think of? I already know what the answer is, I think. Okay, so you're going to say it, and then I'm going to tell you what I think the answer is. But the biggest achievement, both of you are going to answer this, of BronxWorks. What is the biggest achievement of the organization so far?
Do you want to go first, Dina?
I need some time to think.
No pressure. Okay. No pressure or anything.
There's so many achievements, I would say. BronxWorks.
Can I answer it?
Yeah,
sure. Just as an outsider reporter, I think it's your connection to the community. I feel like you're so well known and everyone knows that they can get help from you, whether it's job placement. That's how I think I got to meet you, was job placement programs with the Bronx Borough President, who we love, Vanessa Gibson.
Yes.
She loves you guys too.
And we love her.
I think that's how I just know you from so many different programs, and the community knows about you. So it's when you build that kind of brand and that reputation, people just love you. And I guess that's what you're remembered for, right? Is that impact for so many years. Again, tell me a little bit about the special resources you want them to know right now that are coming up that they can look forward to. What are some of those resources again?
So, and I'll let Dina also mention for the children and youth side. So for us, there are special resources for people who are hungry and need to connect to emergency food assistance. Again, we run a number of food pantries where people can reach out to us. We're happy to help. We also have the large eviction prevention programs that they can also connect to, so we can help with rental arrears. We can keep people stably housed. That's really, really important. And of course, for our workforce development programs, we do a lot around job training and job placement and try to connect people to jobs with livable wages, right? And on children and youth side.
Yes. I mean, just to add, we are a year-round organization, so we are always running, moving, functioning. 12 months.
Love that, yeah.
24 hours a day. But as far as youth development, we have summer camp coming up from elementary all the way up to middle school. We have the summer youth employment, again, ages 14 up to 24. So we're getting job readiness, financial assistance. We have an aquatics program, so our teens are learning how to swim and they're competing.
Life-saving skills.
Yes, life-saving skills. And that's just to name a few. We have our farmers market, and again, the senior centers. So we're helping out just different age range.
I love it. And then I always end is anything else you wanted to add? Anything else?
I think for us, going back to the question about sort of what is significant about the organization, I think for us, again, is being able to come out expanding the organization after COVID. When we really did think we were going to be contracting at that period of time, it just showed us that we have the ability to change quickly if we need to, and be as resourceful as possible. But that's only possible with the unrestricted dollars that come into the organization that allow us to sort of change and pivot where we see the need is greatest. So that's
so great. Well, I'm a big fan of BronxWorks and a big fan of yours.
Oh, thank you.
Yours. So my question is, who should we have on our next podcast? Who would you like to see on our next podcast?
From outside of
Yeah, I'm always open because I love to get ideas.
well, we have sister organizations that you should highlight.
Look
Yes.
at this. Okay, it goes all the way back to BronxWorks.
No, but we have sister organizations in other boroughs that you should highlight.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
It's how many? Where are they?
So
Tell me
there's
some of them.
well, all of them. So Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, right? Where there's other
I'm going
organizations
to be so
that are
busy.
similar.
This is going to be a lot of podcasts to come. Thank you both for coming. We really appreciate it. Let's keep making it happen together, okay?
Thank you.
Love
Thank
it.
you.
Yes. And hopefully, hopefully the dresses will come flowing
Yes.
in, right?
Yes.
We need, bring the dresses.
Yes, and Monica, thank you so much for having us. We really do appreciate it, and thank you for highlighting the work of the organization.
This is the most beautiful work, and I love both of you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.